What's up, guys? Today you have a chance to win $10,000 if you stick till the end of the video. Fuck. So cringe. I've been watching lots of Dr. Beast, Mr. Beast. Anyways, here I am taking a shit again. What am I going to talk about today? A few things that I missed the other day or yesterday. Basically, I was a bouncer and I worked as a bouncer for 4.5 years. And today we're going to talk about comfort zones and how comfort zones rot your life. So basically, I was a bouncer for 4.5 years. The first 2.5 years were actually fire, and I had a great time. I was chopping girls. There was a chunk where I was in a relationship, and obviously I would never cheat. I actually got cheated on by. I'm not gonna go there this episode, but somebody that I put my trust in, and they just weren't mature enough and didn't care about me that much. Basically, while I was a bouncer, it was fun because I got to become like a sociologist, psychologist just by observing people's behavior. And observing people's behavior, you know, in a nightclub setting, you see the spectrum of human behavior from the scum of the earth to the greatest, nicest human beings. Usually it's on the scum of the earth spectrum when you combine idiocy and low IQ with alcohol. Basically, I worked that job for 2 years. I was studying to be an actor. I was at one of the top acting schools in the city. I was also in Second City School of Comedy, working on my improv, and I was a stand-up comedian. So for 3.5 years, I was a stand-up comedian. For 4.5 years, during that time, I was a bouncer the whole time. I was a starving artist, so like basically, I was grinding really hard, and I thought I needed the week to myself to build my production company, and in a sense, I did. But to be honest, I didn't make much money as a bouncer. I barely got by. Luckily, I was living in government housing with my pops, so I was getting by because the rent was so cheap, and that was kind of one thing that kept me alive. I would invest all the little money I made as a bouncer into my music videos. I'd shoot like $20,000-$30,000 music videos, and I'd pull strings. I'd pull so many favors because I'm good at talking to people, and people gravitate towards me and they like me. But it wasn't easy being a starving artist. It was really, really, really fucking hard. Sorry, I shouldn't swear. Yeah, like it's unbelievable how much blind faith I had in myself, especially at that time. Being a 1 in a million basketball player, I transfer that energy towards this. And I barely had some days I'd shoot a music video, I'd give all my money in cash to whoever shot, and it wasn't even a lot of money. They were like all paid less than their rates, and I was pulling so many strings that sometimes I wouldn't eat for like 2 days. I wouldn't have money, or I'd borrow money from my dad, but my dad was on disability, barely getting by, so I was helping support him as well. So there'd be days where I wouldn't eat for a day or two, because I just didn't know how to make money, and I wasn't financially conscious. I had no credit. I had student debt in collections. I wish I learned about financial responsibility earlier on. That's just a topic that we as a family didn't really get into when I was a kid. There was a lot of money problems, struggles, but I was basically a starving artist, and I thought I needed to be a starving artist to get by. And basically, it was really hard because there's this equilibrium. My mom was always yelling at me like, "Get a better job, stop wasting your time." She didn't understand fully that I I felt I needed, more time to create my art. And, maybe everything happens for a reason. I was supposed to live that way. I definitely don't live that way anymore. I have a great job, and I get paid, and I know how to save, and I'm almost debt free. I'm 1 month away, so I'm going to do a celebration video when that happens, because it's been 12 years of debt. And basically, my mom was trying to tell me, like, you get a better job. She just wanted the best for me. Like, all parents want the best for me, but sometimes parents, especially Balkan parents or like immigrant parents, really don't know how to communicate with their children, let alone themselves and their spouses. She wanted the best for me, so I was triggered by what she was saying, because I felt like she didn't understand my vision and my dream, and maybe she didn't, and that's okay. Her intentions were pure, and she just wanted her kid not to suffer, because my pops was kind of a starving artist too. So basically, I lived a starving artist life when I realized today that I didn't have to. So there's this, like, as artists, there's this equilibrium that we need to go through, and we have a responsibility, each person, to cover our basic needs. And basically, our basic needs are, the roof over our head, so at least rent, food. So food and shelter are number one, and you got to pay the basic bills. So whatever it takes to have food and shelter, you need to make that amount of money times 3 minimum, or 4. So whatever your rent is, multiply that by 3 or 4, and that's how much money you need to be making to live a decent life. If I knew that beforehand, things would have been different, but I didn't know, and I found out the hard way. And to be honest, I was in a comfort zone, and I was going to lead to that whole thing. My movie that I mentioned in the last episode is about my friend who's a 40-year-old virgin who has never had any life experiences, and we take him on a cross-continental quest to discover himself. But the whole point of the film is to throw him into the fire and make him do things, and allow him to do things, and challenge him to do things that he would never ever do, to grow as a human being. And you get to see a real person grow as a human being, and that's only possible when you step out of your comfort zone and do things that you would never want to do. So there's a whole equilibrium and exchange for if you choose short-term pain, you get long-term gain in return. If you choose short-term gain or comfort, you get long-term pain down the road. So it's kind of like the equilibrium of the universe, and I think it's important that we push ourselves out of our comfort zone in order to grow in every way possible, whether that's career, spirituality, life, and all that. So that's kind of the direction that everyone should be, like, striving to go. But yeah, man, that's the biggest lesson I've learned through this whole thing. And I think that we all need to get out of the comfort zone and do things that we would never want to do, that make us really uncomfortable, because that way we will grow into the people we are destined to be. Anyways, that's it for today.